starting a new learning program in the tractate of Beitzah. And one of the good things about Daf Yomi, even though it's not the tractate of Daf Yomi, is Daf Yomi functions as a sort of a time capsule in a way, sort of a time measuring device. People measure, their life in terms of the daf, this was happening, or like that. So this cycle of Daf Yomi, Beitzah takes us back to September 2nd of 2021, which was a Thursday. Yom Chamishi was the 25th day of Elul in the year 5781. So you can kind of get the feel for like the end of 81. We're about to start 82, and so September. It's the Beitzah went from September 2nd, 2021, 25th of Elul, and it went through Rosh Hashanah. It went through pretty much all the high holidays. It went through the whole high holidays of 5782, September of 21. So it went and it went until the 4th of Cheshvan. The 4th of Cheshvan of 5782. So October 10th. So it was September 2nd, 21, 25th L, up until October 10th of 2021, which was a Sunday. It was the 4th of Cheshvan. And without further ado, let us start Tractate Beitzah. The Mishnah says, Beitzah shenolda b'yom tov. I'll just read the English for it to go quicker. With regard to an egg that was laid on a festival, Eduyot 4:1, Beit Shammai say it may be eaten on that day, and Beit Hillel say it may not be eaten. As the Gemara will explain at length, apropos this exceptional case in which Beit Shammai are lenient and Beit Hillel are strict, the Mishnah cites additional halachot of the festivals in which this unusual phenomenon occurs. Yoma 79b. Beit Shammai say, leaven, in other words, dough that has been leavened. I was just invited to someone named Levin today, which is interesting. Dough that has leavened to such an extent that it is no longer used as food, but as a leavening agent for other dough, is prohibited on Passover in the measure of an olive bulk. However, the measure for edible leavened bread is greater than that of a large date bulk. Beit Hillel say, for both this and that, the measure is that of an olive bulk. Furthermore, with regard to one who slaughters an undomesticated animal or a bird on a festival, Eduyot 4:2, in which case it is a mitzvah from the Torah to cover the blood after slaughtering, Leviticus 17:13. Beit Shammai say he digs earth with a shovel and covers the blood with that earth ab initio, which means he does that, primarily. That's the way it should be done. And Beit Hillel say he may not slaughter at first, the best way of doing it, unless he had earth prepared for that purpose while it was still day. But even Beit Hillel concede that if one had already slaughtered the animal or the bird, then he should dig with a shovel and cover the blood. Additionally, they agree that the ashes of a stove are considered prepared for the use of covering blood, as will be explained by the Gemara. The Gemara inquires, with what case are we dealing with in this Mishnah? If we say that the Mishnah is referring to a chicken that is designated for eating, in other words, one planned to slaughter and eat a chicken that laid an egg, what is the reason that Beit Hillel prohibit eating the egg? It is food that has been separated. The entire chicken is considered food, as it is designated for eating. And this egg is simply a part of that. It came detached. Just as one may partake of the chicken itself on a festival, its egg should likewise be fit for consumption. Rather, the Mishnah must be referring to the case of a chicken designated for laying eggs, since the owner of this chicken decided not to eat it on the festival. It is classified as set aside. Muktzah items may not even be moved, let alone eaten. Since the chicken itself is muktzah, the egg is muktzah as well. The Gemara asks, if so, what is the reason Beit Shammai for permitting the one to eat the egg? What, after all, it's muktzah. Beit Shammai also holds a muktzah. The Gemara expresses surprise at this question. What is the difficulty? Perhaps Beit Shammai do not hold that there is permission of muktzah. Maybe Beit Shammai say it's not muktzah. Different opinions with regard to the scope of the prohibition of muktzah. It is possible that Beit Shammai, like other Tanaim, maintain that there is no prohibition of this type of muktzah. Perhaps this is the subject of their dispute with Beit Hillel. Before stating its proposed solutions for this difficulty, the Gemara notes it enters our mind to say that even one who permits moving an item that was set aside by its owners on a festival or Shabbat prohibits the owners from doing so with an object that came into being nolad on a festival. One may not move an object that came into being on a festival or Shabbat, since the owner never entertained the notion that he would be able to use it. This egg is certainly an object that came into being on the festival. What then is the reason of Beit Shammai? Rav Nachman said actually the Mishnah is referring to a chicken designated for laying eggs. However, our previous assumption was mistaken, as the sage who holds that there is a prohibition of muktzah in general also holds that there is a prohibition of objects that came into being, while one who does not hold that there is a prohibition of muktzah likewise does not hold that there is a prohibition of objects that came into being. Shabbat 45b. Consequently, the dispute can be summed up as follows. Beit Shammai hold, in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, who maintains that there is no prohibition of muktzah, and Beis Hillel hold in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, who rules that there is a prohibition of muktzah. The Gemara is puzzled by this explanation. And did Rav Nachman actually say that Beis Hillel hold in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda? But didn't we learn in the Mishnah in Shabbat 143a that Beit Shammai say one may remove bones and shells left from the meal from the table, despite the fact that they are inedible and are muktzah? And Beit Hillel say it is prohibited to do so. Rather, one may remove the entire board, that is the table service, which is a vessel that may be carried, and shake it all at once. By moving the table, which is not muktzah, one is able to shake off the bones and shells, but he may not move the items themselves. And Rav Nachman said that version of the Mishnah is not in accordance with the halakha. Rather, the opinions should be reversed, as we have nothing other than the following version of this dispute. Beit Shammai holds in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, who maintains that the prohibition of muktzah applies, while Beit Hillel hold in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, who maintains that the halakha of muktzah does not apply. Why then does Rav Nachman explain that the ruling of Beit Hillel in the case of an egg in the Mishnah is based on the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that there actually is a prohibition of muktzah? The Gemara answers that Rav Nachman could have said to you in reply, with regard to Shabbat, this is a case where the Tana taught us an unattributed Mishnah, which is generally accepted as the halakha, in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, as we learned in the Mishnah, Shabbat 156b. One may cut pumpkins before an animal to facilitate their consumption, And likewise, one may cut up an animal carcass before dogs, even if the animal died on Shabbat, to enable them to consume it. Although that carcass is classified as muktzah, it may be moved on Shabbat. The Gemara concludes that unattributed mission, tractate Shabbat, is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Shimon. For this reason, Rav Nachman establishes that the dispute between Beit Hillel and Beit Shammai should be understood to mean that Beit Hillel hold in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, whom the halacha apparently follows, as there is a principle that the halacha is always in accordance with Beit Hillel's opinion. However,